All right, guys, big round of applause. Welcome back to the DJI Mini 2, labeled as the DJI Mini 4K. But no, for real, this actually is a new drone from DJI. This is the DJI Mini 4K, and it does have the same older body as the Mini 2, as the Mini 2 SE, but now sits right below this one right here, which is the DJI Mini 3. Now, for those that got my joke, is because you might have been in the drone space for a little while. This is the DJI Mini 2, and this one kind of was discontinued, or pretty much was not worth getting anymore when they released the Mini 3, because when the Mini 3 was released, these prices were pretty much the same. The Mini 3 was only a little bit more expensive than the Mini 2, so this kind of knocked off the Mini 2. Now, to simplify things and to cut to the chase, if you're looking at getting into the space of drones and you want one of the most reliable types of drones at the most affordable price, you're going to want to go with the new DJI Mini 4K for a few different reasons. We'll talk about mainly these two drones right here because of their price points and their features. Now, with all these drones being very similar, I am going to take these kind of off the table, mainly because the Mini 2, it has been discontinued for a little while on the DJI website. So you're not actually able to purchase this one. You can still purchase it on Amazon, but it does come in at a higher price, a little over $400 for the Mini 2 setup. And like I said, at that price point, you might as well go towards the Mini 3. Now that leaves us with the Mini 2 SE, and I'm gonna take this one off the table, even though it's a really, really good deal. This drone comes in at $279, so $20 more affordable than the new 4K. However, you are limited to 2.7K resolution, 30 frames a second. So if you are gonna go with a drone, spending 20 bucks more to get a higher quality camera, get a 4K camera instead of a 2.7, I'm of course going to lean towards this one at that price point. So we will take the Mini 2 SE off the table as well. Now that leaves us with these two drones, the Mini 4K and the Mini 3. When I saw the price difference between these two, then it makes a little bit more sense to me as far as why they are releasing this drone right here. $299 for the Mini 4K, and here the Mini 3 comes in at $420. When it comes to flying drones and the transmission, I will normally only recommend the ones at the very baseline that have OcuSync, and this one does as well. It still has the OcuSync to our O2 technology. Now, the Mini lineups in general have just been the most popular drones because they sit under that 250 gram mark, and depending on where you live, most drones under 250 grams, you don't need to register it with the FAA, and these two drones sit right under that. But of course, check your local restrictions and regulations around drones. But here in the US, if your drone sits under 250 grams, you technically don't need to register it. The new Mini 4K comes in actually at a really lightweight 240 grams, and the Mini 3 comes in at 246 grams. Now, one major difference between these two drones right here is that we do have a larger sensor on the Mini 3, where the Mini 3 has a 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor and has a little bit wider of an aperture, an f1.7 here on the Mini 3. We have an f2.8. When it comes down to video resolution, both of these drones shoot at 4K, 30 frames a second. The one upside here on the Mini 3 is that you are also able to shoot 4K 30 with HDR. And if you wanted to slow your footage down just a little bit, both these drones shoot at 2.7 up to 60 frames a second. The one spec bump that I do like on the Mini 4K is that we do have 100 megabits per second on this drone compared to the Mini 2 SE, only 40 megabits per second. Now, if you are in the market for a drone that can follow you, both of these drones do not have that feature. They don't have that option, mainly because both of these drones do not have obstacle avoidance sensors. I believe both these drones are still meant to be beginner entry-level drones, and if you wanted a more advanced feature like follow me functions, the Mini 3 Pro has those options. But if you really want advanced features on the follow me functions, you're going to want to jump up to something like the Mini 4 Pro. Has a little bit better cameras, better sensors. Now, even though we don't have those follow me functions on these two drones, we still have intelligent flight modes called QuickShots. QuickShots are still an intelligent flight mode that allow you to do dynamic movements with a press of a button. So if you wanted to do things like droney, rocket, circle, helix, you could do them with these drones right here. So you can still get some dynamic automated movements simply by pressing a button through the app. Now, when it comes down to flight time, we still have the same rated 31 minutes that we had on the Mini 2 SE. And also, if you had the 2 SE, the batteries actually still work the same with the 2 SE, and the Mini 4K. Now here on the Mini 3, we have a big jump as far as flight time goes. You have two different options as far as battery capacity. The lower capacity battery gives you a rated 38 minutes of flight time, or you can get a higher capacity battery giving you up to 51 rated minutes of flight time. Now, of course, those are rated minutes of flight time. So even though it says 31, you'll probably get somewhere close to about 18, 20, 22 of actual flying minutes with the Mini 4K. Same with this. You'll probably get about 20 minutes, 22, 23 minutes on the lower capacity battery. And then the higher capacity battery, you'll get about 30 plus minutes on the larger one. Now, I talked about this earlier, the video transmission, that reliability between your remote control and your drone. They both use O2 technology, giving you about 10 kilometers in range line of sight. That O2 or OcuSync transmission is the most important thing you want to look at with a drone. The older DJI drones had Wi-Fi, which works when you're in close proximity. However, if you're gonna fly your drone out there, you don't wanna lose connection. You wanna stick with, like I said, baseline, something with OcuSync, and these both have OcuSync or O2 technology. And speaking of range and transmission, the Mini 4K will come with this remote control. This is the RCN1C, but also works with the RCN1 remote control. This remote right here is the one that you're gonna need your mobile device to hook up. Plug it in here at the very bottom, but you do need a mobile device or a phone to hook up to your remote control so that you're able to see and change all of your settings on your camera. Now, the Mini 3 uses a similar remote control, it uses the RCN1 remote control, which pretty much looks exactly the same. The one thing that's really nice about the Mini 3 though, is that you do have the ability to use something like the DJI RC, which has a built-in screen. I like having a dedicated remote control with a built-in screen to it because that way I can free up my mobile phone. I don't always have to have my phone connected like I do here. I have a separate screen, and you are able to do that with the Mini 3. Now, if you are using your drone for photos, both these drones do shoot JPEG and RAW. The Mini 4K does have a 12 megapixel camera, where here the Mini 3, you're able to shoot up to a 48 megapixel photo. Both these drones do have panoramic options, so if you wanted to shoot into a sphere, a wide angle shot, or a 180 shot, both these drones do have those modes. Now, one big difference between these two drones right here is the gimbal. As you can see here on the Mini 4K, we do have a gimbal that can actually still point up just a little bit, but we do have it restricted a little bit more, where here we have a completely new gimbal design, which allows you to actually point your camera almost straight all the way up. And not just that, if you wanted to shoot in vertical format, this camera right here actually turns from horizontal to vertical. When it comes down to wind resistance, both of these drones are actually rated for level 5 wind resistance, and they both handle the wind really, really well. I've been flying these drones actually at the beach all the time where it's always windy. Unfortunately, just like the Mini 2 and the Mini 2 SE, if you are in sport mode and flying this drone, you do have that little twitch as far as the gimbal goes. It's not able to handle sport mode the same way the Mini 3 can. Now, even though I bring up the Mini 2 a lot as a reference to the new Mini 4K, the one thing that they did remove on the Mini 4K is the ability to have the Wi-Fi transfer from your drone to your mobile device. Now, what's interesting about the release of the Mini 4K is that it's not going to be released on the DJI website. You're only able to buy this on the Amazon US and EU websites, as well as through Best Buy. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we do have a pretty good size price gap between these two drones, and that's why I'm not too mad at DJI for doing this, because they're giving us a 4K drone. It is still the baseline, I would say, I would recommend as far as what drone to get for entry level, because of the fact 4K quality, OcuSync, has most of the video capabilities and photo options that most users will need. And coming in at $299, you are able to get this drone right here, as well as this remote control, the RCN1C. You get these for $299. DJI will be releasing this drone with a 3-battery Flymore combo, which also comes with this right here, a Flymore combo bag, as well as the battery hub and 3 batteries. You got 2 in the hub, 1 in the drone. So if you are looking at picking up this package and you want the most flight time out of it, highly recommend going up to the 3-battery Flymore combo, because you get all this gear, kind of in the bag, everything kind of all in one little kit. Now, jumping over to the DJI Mini 3 side, if you want to have the baseline setup with the Mini 3 and this one right here, the RCN1 remote control, this setup right here comes out to $419. However, if you are jumping over to this, I would highly suggest going over to this one right here, the package with the DJI RC with the built-in screen. This right here will take your price point up to $549 for this setup. But like I mentioned, it's a really cool setup because you don't have to rely on your mobile phone. And because the Mini 4K and the Mini 3 are somewhat positioned to be more entry-level beginner drone, you definitely want to look into possibly getting the DJI Care Refresh, which gives you a little bit more peace of mind when you're up in the air. The Care Refresh is basically like an extended warranty where you would pay a small fee up front, and then if you were to crash the drone, if you were to have a flyaway, something were to happen to the drone, you can get a replacement drone for a low cost. I definitely recommend getting that Care Refresh, especially if this is your first drone, because it's super easy to fly it and go sideways right into a twig or a tree, hit it on the wall, and that could be it. But if you do have the Care Refresh program, at least it is a small fee to get it replaced. And there it is, guys, the all-new Mini 4K. I do like we have, as consumers, more options at a more affordable price, $299, to get into this space compared to some of the other drones on the market. And this drone definitely has all of the main features that we need on a beginner drone. Really good transmission, solid 4K camera, and of course all of the DJI technology that we're pretty much used to. If you are interested in this drone, I am going to have my Amazon links down below in the video description, so make sure you guys check those out. As always, if you guys got value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. This is Ultra Stasio with FlytPath.com. See you guys in the next one. Take care.